mystical land known as Delaware. A tall middle-aged geek lives day by day, playing video games since Atari, eating junk food, watching movies, listening to rock music, and chasing nerdy girls. This is his story.
Welcome to the Crazy Geezer Podcast, episode 1 today, featuring ILLSVN 4K. My man right here. How you doing, dude?
Good. It's good to see you. You know, the first time I ever saw you, I was hanging upside down during that infamous scene in Swine and Dine, which people will see soon enough. That was like the day I met you. You were basically saving me from all the blood rushing from my head.
Yes.
You look much better standing right side up, if you want me to tell you the truth. But all jokes aside, man, I'm awesome. I'm happy to be here. I know you've been talking about getting this off the ground for a while, and you asked me to be episode number 1, and I was so thrilled, and I'm glad you're here, man. You're rocking and you're rolling. The first episode 0 was cool. I liked it.
Thank you very much. And by the way, you're the one who asked to be on episode 1.
Oh, that's right. I was. I'm not gonna lie. It's memory is not my thing. All the blood that rushed to my head that one time. But yeah, man, it's been exciting. It's great seeing you. You know, it's been great seeing you in a lot of the indie horror movies I've been in. I know it's only been 2 of them, but just seeing you makes the set feel a lot better, man. And I'm glad to see you bringing that energy to like a new platform for yourself.
Oh, that's not just me. It's you too. I mean, you're there putting in the work.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. You know, I'm out there and I'm doing what I can and trying all sorts of different avenues and stuff and just going with the flow, man. I never thought I'd say the day I was like, you know what, I'm kind of done with the YouTube thing. But anyway, it's something. Oh, okay. It's my air conditioner. I heard something rattling and I thought it was like something in the corner about to fall. No, yeah, I'm just out there trying to make it happen. You know, I was doing the YouTube thing and now I moved on to acting and now just trying to, like I said, go with the flow, man.
Well, I mean, you are a jack of all trades, which people are going to find out later in this episode because you'd be surprised what this man can do. If I tell him about a video game franchise, he already knows it. He's like, oh yeah, try this scene and try that part.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. It's always fun when you show me like any video game you've bought because if I actually have something to say about it, you know, I have something to say about it.
100%. I mean, you were partially responsible for helping me get that video card for my PC, which works, by the way.
Yeah, you got the 5070, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and you figured out that driver's issue because everyone's been having issues with the drivers.
I discovered a workaround temporarily.
Yeah, that's kind of what we all been doing. It's been a little rough on the whole side of the new graphics cards this season. It's been a little crazy. A lot of people have been having trouble. I've been having trouble. I've had mine since like February. I think it's the fact it's like the first AI based card that they're crash coursing it. I really don't think this was as refined as they thought it was when they put it out.
Tell the story about how you got your video card. That's a story in itself.
Oh man, it's sad. It's a sad story, but it's just what it is. This generation of graphics card, like everybody, I waited outside of what was it, Micro Center for like 3 hours, and then they told us, like, thankfully they told us the night before. They told us after we were all waiting there, yeah, we got 4 4090s and we got like 80 5080s, and no one wanted to wait around for a 5080, so I had to like go home and deal with it because I was like the 60th in line and I wasn't going to get one. So I had to go find somebody on fucking Facebook and deal with the scalper. At least he was a nice kid though. And the craziest part is what I paid for that card scalped isn't too far from what it costs now with all the price hikes and the tariffs and all that stuff. It's been really interesting watching the PC world kind of crumble beneath the weight of its own hype. That's really what's happening. It's crazy.
So question number 1 was, did you pay a decent price without getting ripped off?
Oh, dude, I'll tell you right now. I paid. I have no problem. This is funny. I had to pay like $3,900 for the thing, and it was a $2,400 card at the time. Now after tariffs and all the other price rises, it's like $2,800 with $3,000 after tax. So I still totally overpaid, but I only overpaid by much less than I thought long term. Only because I gambled on the fact that I'm not going to find this thing, which I never still do find it in stores. It was a pain in the ass, but hey, man. You got to do what you got to do to get what you want. It's like shiny object syndrome.
Well, you're okay though, right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally fine. It's not like I went broke for it or anything.
That's
but
what
it was just
me.
Unbelievable, like how badly they messed up this generation. Like nobody is able to attain these things. They should be something you just grab off the shelf, like, nah, man, you're still camping out for them. And then the prices are so high now, nobody wants them. It was a rough time. I'm glad you got yours when you did. It seemed like you got yours at the right time and the right price.
Well, I talked to you about it very briefly, and I was very critical. I was like, am I doing okay? Did I do the right thing? And you said yes, all the way.
Oh, absolutely. You got that 5070, and at least, like I said, at least you got an MSRP. You didn't get jacked. It's ridiculous, and it's only because, like I said, I don't think they have the best grasp on this generation. I think this is a really messy launch, and they didn't know what they were doing, and they're supposed to apologize for a lot of things that they didn't. But hey, man, I'm glad you got yours, and it was no problem. You ordered it off Newegg, and you were good, right? That's where you got it, Newegg.
Yeah. So I waited about a week, and then I put it together, and then I'm not going to get into the gory details, but long story short, it was like, okay, I figured out a workaround. Yes, the card works because I was able to test out a few games. Your favorite franchise of mine, Resident Evil.
Yeah, man. Resident Evil runs like butter on PCs, and when you have a nice rig like yours, it runs great. Which one did you play?
I tried the first one. I have all three. It was GOG.com. I think you've heard of them.
Oh yeah, I know what they are. I know all those websites are the best to save money. That's the cool thing about PC gaming. You can save decent money if you play it right.
Well, I only did because those three games were exclusive to GOG.
Oh, they were. They've become okay.
Yeah. I think I paid $10 per game for all three.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Especially because that second one is something else, man. That second one, that second Resident Evil remake. What?
It's the best of both 2 and 3. 3 I had high hopes for because that was my favorite on PlayStation. But it seemed to be lackluster.
Yeah, they dropped the ball. I beat that in one 5-hour stream. I was like, did I just beat a Resident Evil game in one day? Like it wasn't even one day. I was like, okay. I was literally this is really what it is, a 5-hour game. I was like, I feel like this was much longer on the PlayStation 1. And I don't think I beat that one on PlayStation 1. But
not yet.
Even Resident Evil 4 was really good. But Resident Evil 2, man, that was everything that you ever could have wanted out of the game. Delivered.
It felt like a love letter to the fans, particularly the remake. 3, the remake of 3 was a bit of a disappointment, but I still like it reasonably.
It was fun, but it was just really short.
It just felt like there was something missing, like puzzles, for instance. It was because 3 had to overcompensate for puzzles because it had an 18-month window.
Yeah, you're actually right. And to top it off, there's people were oh, the clock tower was missing. Stuff I didn't get to in the third game myself because I actually had Dino Crisis back in the day that had the Resident Evil 3 demo in it. That's what I remember.
I think that's available on GOG.com too.
Yeah, that was a good time. I love Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis, that's the next one Capcom really needs to remake. Dino Crisis. I don't know if you ever played that, but that was like Resident Evil in hard mode because the dinosaurs could follow your blood trails and they could open up doors and they can get you and they would fall through with the ceilings if you locked them out of a room. They were really fucking smart. It was a nightmare game. It was terrifying as a child.
Was it really?
Yeah, man, it was scary because once you left the room, it was fine with Resident Evil. That was the dinosaurs could open the door and you had to figure out how to lock the door. Because remember, it's like a velociraptor. You know how they had people believing in Jurassic Park a raptor could open a door? And if you were bleeding, which you would leave a blood trail, the dinosaurs could follow you off your blood trail. It was actually pretty ahead of its time for survival horror because survival horror was, limited by the technology of its time back then. It was groundbreaking, but it was still a PlayStation 1. I mean,
so you heard it from him yourselves, folks, that it's Dino Crisis is Resident Evil meets Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's really good. Everybody's been asking for a remake for a while. If you ever get a chance, just grab it online and just play the original version. It'll blow your mind.
I'm looking for it. Oh yeah.
Oh.
I haven't played it yet.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna love it. It's really, really good. It's something that I don't know how to word it other than at the time, again, it was very different and it was from Capcom, so it was interesting to see them come up with a variation of what was working. Because again, things were technologically limited back then. The PlayStation 1 was impressive, but at the same time, still was only 1998.
What was it? I didn't get my first. When did you get your first PlayStation?
I got my PlayStation in Christmas of 1997, and I felt like it was so long overdue. It was the greatest. It was one of the greatest Christmas mornings of my life. I was in 6th grade. It was everything I ever wanted because that was the adult gaming system. After we got done with that golden age of Mario Saves the Princess and Metroid and Sonic. It was really that next progression of leaving behind the mascot and coming into its own with like video games being movies. Like pretty much everybody knows the first game that did that was Metal Gear Solid. That was the first game that ever made. That was like the game that pegged the question: are video games art? Because this is like a movie. There was like equal cutscenes and gameplay, and oh man, the PlayStation is definitely my favorite thing. When did you get your PlayStation?
Just a few months before you, and I got mine used, but you got yours new.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is before the DualShock was out.
Yes.
And I remember when the DualShock came out, the first time a game was ever like press R3, I was like, what did you say, motherfucker? Like, I was like,
what's R3?
I was like, R3? Where the fuck? We got an R3 now? Like, for like 2 or 3 months, I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. And whatever feature that had in the game, I never saw it. Well, that was the shit. Car combat games. Let's remember those. Remember those? Fucking Twisted Metal and all the clones that came from it. That was so good.
Yes. Feel free to talk more. I'm listening.
I'm trying to think about something. Hang on, wait 1 second.
No, you're fine.
Just texting back a customer because running a small business comes with its perks.
You hear that, folks? We got real jobs too, and we're going to continue to keep those jobs so we can just keep.
It is what it is. But yeah, car combat games were like another thing that I absolutely fell in love with it back then. There was Twisted Metal, and there was like, what was there, Road Trip? But nothing was better than the knockoff Vigilante 8. Did you ever play that one?
I've heard of it, but I never played it.
Dude, it was like I don't know, it was some bugged out storyline about car combat happening in the 70s, and everything was like disco balled the fuck out. It was like a fever dream almost. It doesn't even sound like it was a real game, but I had both. I had 1 and 2.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man. What were some of the games that you like really enjoyed on the PlayStation 1? Because that's like my favorite system of all time, pretty much.
Resident Evil. I love all 3 equally, but the third is my favorite because, unlike 2, you run from Nemesis, he's chasing you. You got to run for your life, and you hear that music, you're like, ugh.
It was definitely a better experience on the PlayStation than it was in the remake. You're right. Resident Evil 3 was really, really good. Like.
And like I said, I love all 3 equally, even with the first one, because my best friend and I at the time would buy the game and play it and then get scared out of our minds. And I'm not on anything at all, no psychedelics or anything. I'm clean, and I'm still scared.
Dude, all right, you want to hear something funny?
Sure.
I had a Game Shark, which allowed you to modify the game. So they had to create a weapon sheet. All right. Oh, wow. Action Replay. That was the one in Europe that they had. That was really cool.
But more effective in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Game Shark was interesting in the fact that like it had to create a weapon mod. So it was the thing where like you could take the firing power of one weapon and replace it with the bullets of another weapon. So we took the Gatling gun and put rockets in it. And it was a rocket Gatling gun. Dude, nothing stood a chance against you. You absolutely fucked to the game. Like, of course I put on infinite health, but dude, I had such a blast with Game Shark and Resident Evil, because when you take a game that's supposed to be difficult and you mod it to be easy, it almost becomes like humorous. Like I said, the Gatling gun with the rockets, like nothing stood a chance. Like there was nothing that lasted more than 3 seconds on screen. Like no, strategically shoot for its knees and put it on the ground. It's like, no, I'll just hold both buttons and it'll be fine.
That'd be fun for a live stream, honestly.
Yeah, man. The old Game Shark was like the original like modding thing, and that was also, again, well, technically it was like Game Genie on the Nintendo, but I remember just when that first came to 32-bit systems, I was blown away. Did you ever use a Game Genie though? Ever?
Honestly, you really want to ask me that?
Yeah, I'm sure you.
All right, hang on.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll listen. I'm ready.
Gotta move some stuff around.
This is great.
All right, where are you, buddy? Where are you, little buddy? I know you're around here somewhere. Where are you? Come on.
I feel like he's reaching in a bag of tricks like Art the Clown.
And we're all going to the Clown Cafe after. Son of a gun, I can't find it. I know it's here. Where the hell is it?
So, which system was it for?
Nintendo.
Oh, dude. The first time I ever saw Game Genie was on a Nintendo, actually. My friend who lived... Actually, he lives
Sorry
really
about
close
that.
to me now, but he used to live, like, when I lived up north, a long ways away. He showed me a game... Okay, what's that one for?
PS2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Do you remember the great controversy of the fact that they put a cheat system on the PS2? And that was the first console that really... Well, not the first console, but it's one of the first consoles that had online gameplay. So people were going online with like Pro Action Replay codes active and just smoking everybody and fucking up the leaderboards. It was hilarious because they didn't know any better. And that was the last time there was ever a cheat code device was the PlayStation 2. After that whole era of systems, they never did it again.
Lesson learned, right?
Yeah, man, it's definitely lesson learned.
So yeah, I do. I still have my original Game Genie somewhere. And you ever played Friday the 13th on Nintendo?
Yeah, you could say I've played it. Hang on, wait 1 second. Now it's my turn. Wait 1 second.
Go for it, dude. Go for it. I can't wait to see this.
This is probably the most expensive thing in my collection. It is a Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees action figure.
Oh, I've seen it before.
It's NECA. This thing, I don't really like collect expensive things. It's not my thing. But apparently, I bought this thing for $250. And
what?
Maybe it's worth. Yeah, man. This thing is not easy to find.
No, wait a minute. Release. The last horror con I went to was for $90.
This one? Oh,
yes, that
sad.
one.
That's sad. Oh.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I got stolen then. Yeah, I bought this from a friend who had a store. So I didn't even really know its value. I was just like, a friend of mine opened a comic store, and I was like, do me a favor, get me like a Jason action figure so that way I could say I bought something from you. And I got fucking rolled on. Oh, fuck that guy.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. Hang on, wait 1 second. I'm going to put this back up here.
Go for it. I'll see if I can find my Game Genie in the meantime. Maybe?
Yeah, no. Man. Game Genie, that whole
hey,
like,
I found it. I found it.
Okay, let me see.
Let me get it.
Yeah. This is exciting.
It was tucked away. Hold on. It was tucked away. So, see what I did here?
Holy shit. Okay, let me see that. You know what? You're about to take me back down memory lane. Let me see this. I forgot. I remember it looked like some sort of like fighter jet from like Star Wars. Yeah, that was it right there. That's some you just had to be there shit if I ever saw it.
Hey, you want to hear something more sad or worthy at the same time? Is I still remember the Game Genie codes for Friday the 13th on Nintendo.
What? Those weren't small codes.
No, they weren't. So hold on. This is for Infinite Kids. SZSLUEBK plus. Was it OITEBISV? It's okay. SCSLUEBK plus IYKLSEAY. That's Infinite Kids. Infinite Health for the Active Counselor. OTEIVISV.
Okay. I don't doubt it either because I remember my friend, when he had it, he had like the book that came with it. And I remember Friday the 13th, I used to rent that game like as a kid, and it scared the shit out of me. Like that game absolutely like mortified me as a child. Like the music was by far the scariest thing in that game. The music was so fucking ominous, like dun, 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 dun. Like, you know, God, it was ahead of its time in terms of scary licensed games. Still a terrible game though.
Yeah, you know what? It's only terrible if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, I'll give you that. Once you figure out what to do, it's not so bad, but traversing that map is a little bit of a bitch at first. Like you're like, all of a sudden you're going the opposite way you were walking the whole time because you didn't understand that if you walk past a certain point, it turned your, oh man. It was a fun game. You ever play the Freddy the Nightmare on Elm Street game? That was a good one. You're
honestly asking me that?
I guess you have that one too?
Give me a second.
This is the greatest thing ever. This show is going to be a hit if every time someone asks you if you remember something, you're like, give me 1 second, just like pulls it out. Like, what's that behind your ear? Sonny just pulls it out from behind my ear through the television screen. Yeah, that was a fun one. I beat that. That was one of the first games I beat on an emulator as a kid. And
use Game Genie to beat this.
Yeah, I use save states, same shit. Like
same difference, sure.
Same difference. Still modifying the game. That was one of my all-time favorite games to play because I played it again. That was like the first time. Do you remember the old? You probably have it. Do you remember the old Gravis gamepad, the very first like USB controller that looked like a PlayStation controller? And it was like the first time you ever got to use like it was $20 and it was a USB controller and it was one of the first USB controllers from like a reputable gaming company and it was called the Gravis gamepad and it basically looked like a PlayStation clone controller, but it worked with every emulator that they had at the time. It was like groundbreaking. I got to play all the games I never could for like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Nintendo. It was a time to be alive. Tell me you have the goddamn Gravis gamepad.
No, I use an 8-bit.
Oh, you want to play that game? I got lots of 8-bit stuff. Sit here, child. I got 8-bit Do Ultimate. Hang on.
I'll check that out.
I got and I have their arcade stick, which I modified.
Modified? I'm listening.
Modified. It has the Sanwa joystick, which has like a cutout for something. It's more or less a little bit of a higher quality joystick. And I put the Sanwa buttons in, which are just more or less what they use in like fighting tournaments. I did it just for the fuck of it. And yeah, I'm a big 8-bit do. I like that one that you have too. What is that? The SN30 Pro?
It might be. I think so. It says SN30 Pro Plus.
Yep. Oh yeah, I have the SN30 Pro. I have the one that looks like that, but it doesn't have like the boomerang handles. It looks like an old Super Nintendo controller. I have their old, like original Bluetooth Super Nintendo controller. And up until I started modifying my own controller, I was using all their stuff, but now I have this thing that I modded the hell out of. So
position for the camera. Show everyone.
Yeah, sure. Got some LEDs in there. It changes color. Ooh,
Now, everyone pay attention to this because if you look at the left analog stick, it looks like a jack-o'-lantern.
Yep, that's because the other one popped off. I should really take that off. The other one popped off while I was playing. But yeah, more or less, I have this. This is probably one of the last videos I made on my channel was how to modify that. Give it the click buttons and stuff like that. The triggers are short throw. You just tap them and they go off. You don't have to pull them all the way down. That and that PlayStation 5 controller is some sort of wild architecture. Like it's cool, man. Sony knew what they were doing. Like when you play the Ghost of Tsushima game or Tsushima, I can't remember.
Tsushima.
When you hold down the button to like pull the arrow, you feel the controller like gradually. It feels like you can feel the tension in the vibration. Like I don't know. They did some really cool shit with it. That's hands down my favorite controller out right now is the PlayStation 5 controller.
Wait a minute. So speaking of PS5 controllers, do you know about the one controller that's like worth $200?
Yeah, that one's a little bit gimmicky because they don't sell the replacement part that you're supposed to be able to service. It's the PS5, like it's something that if stick drift happens, it fixes it, but it's gimmicky. And I looked into it because I was kind of like debating it, but everyone who bought it's like the part that you're replacing, if you can even find it, it's just not worth it. I was like, okay. So yeah.
But does it come in different colors like the traditional PS5 controller?
It might come in different colors. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I think actually it only comes in that one color, the generic color, the color that this one is basically.
White.
Yeah, it was again, it did not go over well. It does not go over well at all. People like the Xbox Elite controller too. That's one that people are pretty crazy about, but I haven't grabbed that one yet.
So you're thinking that these $200 controllers are just gimmicky?
Of that one, that PlayStation one, yes. There are $200 controllers out there that are like probably worth their weight in gold. But that's like a whole thing of research I don't do. I like controllers, but I won't spend that much money on a controller. If I was into like competitive gaming and I knew that like every millisecond that I had in my hand mattered, yeah. But that's why I modded this thing. This thing has like click buttons now. Like these aren't like mushy buttons. They're like they have like a click to them, if that makes sense. Like
yes.
So that's why I did that, and it was like $80 to do that to the PS5 controller. It's great because the response time is good. You know, I play a lot of Souls games where like parrying and dodging is everything, so that like instantaneous click or controller of the triggers up top. It's a good feeling to know, like, yeah, it's solid and it clicks, and it's probably why I didn't die for the 900th time.
So if I ever decide to buy this $200 controller, obviously you and I will have a nice discussion about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when it comes to this technology, in all seriousness, I do go to you because you know exactly what you're doing, and I'm just, I used to do everything for everyone from a technical perspective. Now I'm learning how to do things for myself, and that's very difficult. But you've been a big help.
Look, man. I mean, look, man. You're pulling off this whole podcast thing just fine, right? You realized you had to upgrade some stuff, and you bit the bullet, and you spent the money, and that's why it's cool, man. I'm glad you come to me. I may not know everything, but I definitely feel like I can at least point you in the direction of where to go, given the fact I messed around a little bit with what you're trying to do.
Well, you help me, I help you. It's all good.
It's all good, man. Yeah, that's one thing I like about this. You got good energy. That's why I have a good feeling about this project for you, my dude. I think you're going to meet a lot of cool people that you can have on here. I know a lot of cool people already. I mean, I see you at the horror cons. You talk to people. You still got to get Ron and Chris on here. Obviously, we got to get Black Av on here.
Oh, that's just a matter of time. Then they know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I asked for them to be on guest just like a week before their premiere.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they would love that. They're huge supporters of this, and they're always fun to talk to too. They always rolled through together, and they seem to have a really good time. And I think they deserve a platform to talk to you because I know they have stories with you from set.
I have a story for you.
Sets. What'd you say?
I have a story for you.
Tell me the story.
So the one Saturday I was over at Atlantic City for the New Jersey Horror Con. I was over at the Swine and Dine table where we caught up at, and he asked me, "Hey, come with me real quick. I want to talk to you about something." He introduces me to Michael Levy from Stream.
Okay,
I was like,
"That's a cool guy. I like him."
Well, first Ron introduced me to George, the director of photography. And then he asked me if I met Michael, and I said, well, I sent him a friend request a long time ago, but never heard back. Come with me. We're going to fix this right now. Am I in trouble or something? No, it turns out they're just a bunch of pranksters and jokers. Michael Levy's like, what's your name? Okay, now you're added.
He's a really cool guy. Mike Levy's a really cool guy at cons. He's very personable with his fans, and he's really appreciative of all the support people have been giving, him, Terrifier, and Stream, because Stream is like, his thing.
Yes.
And he's just been building it up, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
You haven't heard the best part of the story, though.
What?
Michael Levy's like, come with me, and Ron's like doing his thing. We get with Alex Vincent from Child's Play, who plays Andy Barkley.
I love it. I hung out with him once or twice, just like, not like, hey, what's going on? Let's hang out. Just like we were at a con outside, and I just started talking to him randomly, and it took me a while to realize who he was. But again, he wasn't even like, oh, I'm Alex Vincent. He was just a talkative guy. It took me a second. I was like, oh, wait, I know who you are. Like, right. My bad. Like,
no, and if we ever talk to him again, then that'll be a story to talk about at that time. So what happened was right after I followed Michael Levy. He went back to Alex Vincent because earlier I got an autograph and a photo, and I thanked him, for just making the time, to sign my picture, take a photo, which I'll send to you later if you'd like. And next thing you know, the three of us were talking about the possibility of a Child's Play video game because Terrifier is getting its own game later this year.
Yep.
So I was like,
getting another game too. Lots of stuff going on.
So I asked Michael Levy because he's right there. I'm like, Terrifier is your baby as well. Get with the development team of the Terrifier video game and ask Don Mancini and Alex Vincent about the possibilities. And Alex Vincent loved it.
The horror video game thing is one of those things where, honestly, I feel the best one out of the bunch was the Friday the 13th game that came out like in the 2010s. That's like the best one of the bunch. The only thing that sucks is they all don't last very long at all because Dead by Daylight came out and made the smart choice of being like, we'll just license everything and, we'll have our own game. And I like Dead by Daylight. It's actually fun. I'm actually halfway decent at it, like sometimes, depending on what I'm playing against. But it's fun. But I mean, like those horror video games were so much fun. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I loved that when it came out. I streamed that one. I had so much fun with it because it was made by the people who made Friday the 13th game that I liked. But the problem is they're just such short shelf lives. It's so sad. And like, it's got to be one of those things that they debate when they're like, should we make a horror game out of this? Because it's like, that's a lot of money, man. Like, I'm surprised we haven't seen Art the Clown or maybe even one of the stream guys in Dead by Daylight yet, to be quite honest with you. I feel like Art is more than well enough on his way there. Like, call me crazy.
No, you're not. And besides, Terrifier is getting its own game, which will be out later this year, and I'll be the first to buy it as well as you.
Yeah, it's a beat 'em up. It looks like a lot of fun. I'll probably.
Is it? Is it a beat 'em up? I thought it was a 2D side scroller.
You know what? It's like a 2D. It's a 2D beat 'em up side scroller type of thing. It looks like an old arcade beat 'em up, from what I was told.
Really?
I could be wrong. Yeah, it looked like It reminded me of, like I said, like like Golden Axe, but with Art the Clown and stuff like that.
I remember
It's a
Golden
beat 'em
Axe.
up.
Nice name drop.
Yeah, I was trying to think, what's a beat 'em up? Like Golden Axe is another one. That was like one of the first arcade games that we all played, like that blew our minds. We were like, 4 of us can play at once? What? Like
Well, you're talking about Sega. One of their best beat 'em ups was Streets of Rage.
Oh, Streets of Rage was perfection. I was more of a Final Fight guy myself, but Streets of Rage was definitely the better video game. Like Streets of Rage 2 was like pinnacle shit. Like that was perfection for a con. The fact that was never in arcades was a criminal thing, but it doesn't matter because it was so good.
Well, there was a YouTuber I've been following for years. His name's Nathan Barnett. He's known for Dad and Keith Abaker. I'm sure you heard of him. He had a custom-made Streets of Rage arcade in his home.
That's not bad at all, because as someone who has like you have them behind you, you can have that turned into anything you want. Your Turtles in Time thing.
Yeah, but I choose not to.
Someone out there, I wouldn't do it either if I had yours. Mine is actually black. My arcade is blank because I knew I was moving one more time, and I can buy custom graphics for this. They're like $300 though, and I don't want to put them on until I've in my final place. So that's why I haven't done it. But if I had something like yours, no, I wouldn't cover that at all, man. That's too cool. Like
I said when I was a kid a long time ago that one day I was going to have these. Dreams come true, my friend.
Dude, that's I literally tell people all the time, being a boy in the 90s and being a girl, like as a girl you wanted a pony, but all boys wanted an arcade system in their house. Like we wanted like Mortal Kombat 2 or something. And now we have them. It's cool as shit. Like Arcade 1-Up does stuff like that. I think that was a brilliant idea. And the more custom affairs, if you've got like a grand or two to blow, are pretty cool too. Like for the people who are like, I want something a little bit more, like that's even crazy what they have out there.
I think, you know what, I look at it in all seriousness. Everything that we have, you have, I have, respectfully, we earned. And this is a testament to our hard work and dedication, sacrifices.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We get to live the dream a little bit. And, it's one of those things that's like a dying trend. Sometimes I go over people's houses for when I do work in their house for like sprinklers, and I go downstairs in their basement to turn on the water for the system. Sometimes I catch people that have like arcade cabinets. I'm like, oh, do your kids like that? And they're like, yeah, they play it every so often. They liked it a lot for the first 2 weeks, but after that, it kind of wore off. And I'm laughing to myself thinking like, man, arcade cabinets are really going to be something in like another 20 years that we're going to be the only people who really understand it. Like Generation X, had them, we had them, and then Gen Alpha or Gen Z, both of them have no idea what the fuck. They've seen them, but they have no idea what they are like we do. Like it wasn't such a pivotal point in their lives. And I think about that and I'm like, damn, that's a wild thing. It's like when other people would talk about like, I don't know, the first time motion pictures came out and there was no sound, like just something you can't imagine.
Here's a fun fact. When you and I were growing up, PG-13 hadn't existed yet.
Yeah, when did that come out?
I'm trying to remember, honestly.
Let's Google that right now. When did PG-13 rating come out?
Oh, this is so much fun.
It came out, you know what? It was introduced July 1st, 1984. So it just came out.
But which movie, though? Was it Temple of Doom?
Let me see.
Almost sure it is.
The first movie to be released with a PG-13 rating was Red Dawn.
Oh.
Okay.
I like that movie.
That was like a Cold War thing, right?
Worse than that, it's like NATO dissolved and the United States is basically it's like every man for himself.
Oh yeah, it was basically the problem. Like that was basically like Cold War. Like that was a great movie to make during that time because it's like more or less the Cold War, as you hear me say, was going on, and everybody was just like unsure of what was coming to the rest of the world. It's kind of fascinating.
Now it's one that Charlie Sheen was in that, right?
I think so. Yeah. And then I remember there was the Hunt for Red October too. A lot of red, just so that way they could scare us with the word because again, Soviet Union, Mother Russia, like stuff like that. Like, oh man, the bad guys in all of our cartoons were Russians. Like I remember that shit.
You remember Rocky IV?
Oh man, yeah, no, they banked on that though. I mean, I always wonder like how they did that over there. Like, are there games where you play as like the communist over there and you kill the Americans? Like.
If there is, I'm sure one of us would have found it by now.
They have they didn't have Nintendo in Russia. They had something called like Denties, I think, and it was like a bootleg Russian Nintendo system. And for the longest time, Nintendo didn't care. And finally, something happened, and Nintendo found out about them, and they were just like, "How about you just handle the product distribution of our stuff out here, but you can still call it Denties or something like that." It was a bootleg Nintendo that impressed Nintendo so much. Remember, this was in the 80s when Nintendo really needed all the help it could get.
Sure.
They allowed it to happen just as long as they could sell the software through the stores. Because you got to remember, back then, Nintendo made money, pretty much, I guess it's the same now, but they made money by licensing. They sold the systems at like barely a profit, sometimes a loss, but licensing costs a lot of money. Like if you were LJN and you wanted to license on the Nintendo, you had to pay their licensing fees up front, and then they got a percentage of your carts as well.
Yep.
So that's how Nintendo did it back then. That's why it was so interesting that Nintendo just let that slide, because Nintendo today would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like,
I mean, if you talk about the Switch 2, I think you already know all the gory details about it.
yeah, man, the Switch 2 seems it seems cool. It seems like the upgrade you need, but it also seems like the fact they can brick your system if they think you're using it inappropriately. That's wild. They're basically saying you're not going to really own the system. Like,
They did say that.
yeah, that's crazy.
They did say that. I talked to Ryan from What Are We Playing channel?
Yeah.
He was there the same day that you were hanging upside down like a worm on a hook on Swine and Dine.
That's right. Yeah.
He was there,
So
and we
that's
talked
crazy.
about the Switch 2. He's like, don't get it. I'm like, why? It was like, bad battery life. User agreement says that you don't own the system. Getting the system bricked for whatever reason. And the fourth and most important thing is that sure, you can get a physical copy of the game, but there's no physical card. It's a key code.
Yeah. I have I was running Yazuzu on my computer, which I know not everybody can do, but I was running Yazuzu and I was like playing Tears of the Kingdom with a 60 frames per second 4K patch. It was insane. So I'm hoping that I'm like, it was nuts. Like I was like, holy shit. Like this is wild. Like, and like, don't get me wrong, that graphics card was working that day, but like, they had, I'm thinking that you're going to be able to emulate the Switch 2 if you got something like I got. Because they broke that really fast. Like they smashed through the Switch in terms of hacking it. Like I said, I was playing Tears of the Kingdom like flawlessly within 2 weeks after it came out. Like after everybody patched all the bugs and everything else, and the 60 frames per second patch came out, it was nothing.
I just
So
might
I'm
do
wondering
that.
if I'll be able to do that. I'm wondering if I'll be able to emulate it. Sorry, Nintendo. Like if I don't own the system, I'm gonna own the copy. I'm gonna own the copyright lawsuit.
And if Nintendo's listening, make physical games, because fans like ILLSVN 4K and myself collect physical games. Hello?
I mean, physical games is something that it's a dying trend, but I can see why you got to hold on to it. I mean, look at the indie horror world. Like everybody has a physical media thing on their Indiegogo. I mean, we even have like for Black Hat Films, they have the DVD of MonsterCon Massacre. They have everything. But yeah, physical media is something that I don't really collect it anymore because I'm a PC guy and I don't.
Sure.
It's not even an option. And I bought a digital PS5 because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like that $100 less was just like okay. But physical media matters. And for Nintendo to go against it is so weird because Nintendo is like always kind of behind the times with its ideas. Like they stuck with cartridges when everyone else went to CDs and they got burned on that. Switch had cartridges, but I'm assuming it's a piracy thing. I'm assuming that whatever they're doing with these key codes and these carts is going to make cracking games very difficult.
I guess that's the whole reason for this. I have no idea. And again, it's like, I get what you're trying to do, but you're hurting your hardcore fans at the same time.
Yeah, you definitely are. You're hurting, your old school fans. And, what's the point of buying the physical media if it's not really what I want in there? Like, I don't understand. Like sometimes every so often for PC, because we don't have CD drives anymore, really, like they might give us like a novelty big box release. And inside of it is a USB stick that once you plug it in, it installs the game through Steam. But the whole idea is like there's a physical game on there. You get what I'm saying? Like there's something there. But to be like that for consoles is a different animal. Like, because that's basically what it is. Like it's the exact same thing as that USB stick that I was just telling you about. It still has to go through Steam to be activated. You
Sure.
still have to use a launcher of some sort. And I get that. That's how PCs are nowadays. The disk drive is just a dated thing to them. But I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. I feel like it won't be long before physical media is completely faded out.
And you know what? I mean, I'm just glad that there's a retail, especially online and mom and pop video game stores, which by the way, there is a place I'd love to take a bunch of my friends, multiple trips if possible. I want you to go with me, as well as a bunch of our friends, to an arcade outside Chicago called Galloping Ghosts. It's the greatest arcade in the history in the country.
They have a bunch of 1-of-1 games there. Like, they're one of the only people that have the Beavis and Butthead arcade game.
Yes, you knew about it then. I played it.
Yeah. Oh, you did? How did you like it?
Yeah. It was glitchy.
It was glitchy?
Yes. It's like I had to keep getting the guys like, could you hit the reset button? Sorry.
Dude, it was like they won't even dump ROMs of their 1-of-1s. They have a Primal Rage 2 in there, I know.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
They have a lot of cool shit in there and that's like the only two things I can think of offhand, because rare arcade games are just that rare. Like, when they're rare, like, I can't even emulate those two games. Like, I think maybe there's actually no, there is a Primal Rage 2 ROM out there, but there is no Beavis and Butthead ROM. It does not exist.
No, and I checked too, so you're 100% correct.
Yeah, it hurts my soul, especially because like, but it was glitchy. You had to keep on resetting it. You were saying?
Yes, but this was back in 2018 during my last business trip with like 3 jobs ago or something.
Yeah.
And it was like every time I had a business trip and I had an opportunity to go to Chicago, it was like, send me to Chicago. And they knew why. Because I always say, if anyone needs me, I'll be at my arcade. Yeah,
at the Galloping Ghost. I think it's kind of fascinating that, again, they have a preservation for something like that. And I just hope they have the ROM dump somewhere, because, hardware rot is real. Things do break. And if you're talking about a 1-of-1, like...
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, you, myself, Marissa, and a few of our friends will do like a 2-day, 3-day weekend thing, go to Galloping Ghost. Because the owner of the place, his name's Doc, he told me, he's like, the next time I'm there, let him know. Because he wants to give us a tour.
That'd be cool. I would like to see Galloping Ghost. That's something that's actually, again, that's kind of like on my like bucket list that I forget is on my bucket list. But you've been there and you said it's pretty cool, huh?
Oh, dude, it's like heaven on earth. So here's the best part. So yes, those are the arcade. $20 to get in, you're good for the whole day. If you get hungry and you need a break, there's a diner across the street. They overportion you and underprice you.
In Chicago?
Well, in the burbs, but close enough.
Oh, in the burbs. Yeah.
Close enough.
I have a friend who's from who ended up in Cooks County, Chicago, told me it's some shit. I'm like,
but just to throw it out there, that
sounds like a fun idea. We got to figure something like that out. I wonder what else do they have there? What are some other
Ron, Chris, Alex, or anyone would want to go with us though?
I can see you being able to get a lot of people to go. But if you know what I'm asking, what was some other rare games they had there? Like, what did you play that you're like, yeah, that was like 1-of-1, like?
Well, I didn't know this game existed, but if it counts, Roadrunner on the arcade.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard about that one too. There was a bunch of cool licensed things that never hit the market. Beavis and Butthead, Warner Brothers stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, they have almost everything. And one of my best friends was with me because we worked together on the same business trip. He just went to the pinball machines because he's a wizard.
Pinball machines were always really cool to me, and they're always going to be cool to me because, like, there's no way for me to own all of them. Like, I can buy, like, on a Raspberry Pi, I have every arcade game I've ever wanted in, like, the palm of my hands.
Sure.
It doesn't work like that with arcades. I mean, pinball is 1-of-1. When it's in front of you, it's in front of you, and you cannot emulate it. There are video versions of everything, apparently, but that sounds ridiculous to me.
Well, if you could have one pinball machine, in your possession for the rest of your life, what would it be?
If I could have one pinball machine, that's an excellent question. If I could have one pinball machine for the existence in the rest of my life, if we're talking the old ones, absolutely would take. I think it was the Addams Family that was the coolest one of the bunch.
The movie version or the TV version?
The movie version. Yeah, that was
I love that movie.
The Addams Family
every spooky season.
It's one of the best movies that was like it was like the original reboot of something from back in the past made for modern audiences that just went over like mega huge. Even the sequel was hilarious. I mean, Christina Ricci as Wednesday was just like peak casting, like perfect.
So going back to the first movie, my favorite scene was the train scene. What about you?
I can't pick one. It's been so long. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Because the scene where the two trains crash and the whole house shakes. It's like, damn.
I love this from the second one though. My favorite scene is when Wednesday just goes off during the Thanksgiving Day play, and she's like, "We have decided to scalp you." Like she just like goes off. She's like the white devil, and she starts like talking about all that, and they start burning down the camp. That's one of my favorite moments in like cinema. Just the way she's like, "I have seen the problem. People like Sarah Tanner and her folks." Oh man. It was hilarious. The way the camp counselors are like looking through the script trying to find this shit. That's not the script at all.
That brings back some memories.
Yeah, man, that was a good one. And the villain from the second one, Debbie. Oh man, she was a fucking nutbag too. I saw somebody cosplaying as Debbie and Uncle Fester in the white suit holding the turkey.
What?
Dude, it was one of the greatest things I ever saw in my life.
I bet it was. I mean, going back to Saturday, the best cosplay I ever saw was someone portraying Hunter S. Thompson from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, seeing him run around the bar late at night, that was.
You saw him too.
Yeah, I saw him too. He was great.
I was even like, "You're a doctor of journalism, right?" And he's like, "Of course I am." Oh, that made my heart smile because I just rewatched that movie recently before the convention, coincidentally.
Did you saw it before that, or was that your first time seeing it?
It was like my third or fourth.
Oh, dude, I love that movie. That movie was fantastic.
Wait, so are you an expert of the movie?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert in the movie, but I used to watch it a lot in high school, and I thought it was great. I thought the message behind it was really insane.
Okay, so if I ask you about a particular scene, you might be able to answer for me?
I might be able to, yeah.
Okay, what about the whole sequence with Christina Ricci's character? They were trying to use her as...
Oh yeah, that whole thing was pretty fucked up. That part of the movie definitely was like, I don't even know what the hell they were trying to do with her, to be quite honest with you. I'd have to read the book. But yeah, that was actually a pretty messed up scene. I'm not gonna lie. The whole movie was pretty insane, but I never understood what happened. Like that one guy was like picking her up, and the other guy, Hunter S. Thompson, was like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, you can't do this." Like. It was a questionable scene, and it was Vegas in the 70s, so I'm really not surprised at all.
But here's the $1 million question about the movie and the book. Is it fictional or did it really happen?
Oh, that I don't know. That I do not know at all. All I know is they picked her up, and I think Hunter S. Thompson realized like something was not right. This was not good. We got to get this shit the fuck out of here. And they just fucking like threw her off to the side, man. That's a ruthless thing to do though, but it was Vegas in the 70s. 70s Vegas was some other shit.
Yeah, that's like the only thing that would make my skin crawl.
Yeah, that whole scene was nuts. Just the way they like call her up later on, and like they're on the phone with her,
yes,
and like he's like trying to act like, oh my god, I'm getting jumped, and she's like sky high full of acid. Like, yeah, man, skin crawling shit for sure.
Oh, speaking of acid, the scene where his attorney takes like 6 things of acid, and he's in the bathtub.
Oh yeah. You want me to throw the radio in the bathtub when White Rabbit peaks? He's like, you'll get blown halfway through the wall, man. What about the cleaning ladies? Questions. Like,
next thing you know, okay, he drops what he's doing. Hunter goes back to try to get some sleep. Next thing you know, the door blows open. He's like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to carve a Z on your forehead.
You get back in there and put your pants on like a big boy. And he's chasing him with the
clean your shorts. Clean your shorts.
Like a big beep.
Funny story. I was in college back in 2004, and I had to move dorms to a couple of video production majors like myself, and he had a megaphone, and it was a sign in the line, clean your shorts like a big boy, and somehow he was able to get a tone on his megaphone going dun 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 dun. And he's like, clean your shorts like a big boy. I didn't even know where that came from until like several years ago. Like, oh my God, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I'm such an idiot.
Sure, it's like a big boy and he just chased you. Oh my God, that whole scene is absolutely incredible when he throws the fucking orange in there instead of the cassette tape. Oh man.
It wasn't orange, wasn't it? I wasn't sure if it was like a
just the way he's like, just please, I'm trying to get some fucking sleep.
take some rats, smoke some grass, shoot up whatever you gotta do. Smoke some grass. You think
these goddamn animals?
Oh my God!
Tell me about the fucking golf shoes.
I'm a doctor of journalism.
That adrenochrome shit that they were talking about is wild, by the way. Just like I've never done it, but I've heard about it. Like supposedly it's next level shit. Like for its time, again, Vegas in the 70s was a wild, like godless land.
You know what? I could care less if I go to Vegas or not, because if I want to go gambling, Delaware Park is not far from me.
I went for when we were young last year. In 2023, I went my first time. And I was with my girlfriend at the time, and it was not a very fun trip, but it was a very nice area. It was very much so active. Things were going on. Like Vegas is a place to go to if you're going to a festival in Vegas. As far as going to Vegas just for the sake of going to Vegas, I don't think I'm with that move.
You know what? I stand corrected. There is one reason for me to go to Vegas if they're still around, which is Penn and Teller.
They're still around.
Well, I'm saying if they're around by the time I save up enough, then I'd love to go.
Vegas was, as long as you like do it right, Vegas isn't too bad in terms of costs, but it's still Vegas. Like you still are going to go through some money. And if you like weed, let me tell you, you're going to go through money. They have a weed mall there, like a mall just for weed. It's awesome.
And it's legal too.
Oh, dude, it's super legal. It's like nauseatingly legal because you just walk in and they got like everything on display. Like nothing is hidden, nothing is taboo. Like the concentrates are on display. They have like a thing where they show like a bakery making edibles and shit like that. It's a fucking free for all. Like it's just, and it's crazy to think Vegas was a place where if you got caught with weed, you can do like 20 years in life.
Yeah. In fact, if you remember, if you're living in Las Vegas, when they're going into Vegas, you see the sign.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking of. That people don't like Vegas. People didn't like weed in Vegas because it made you slow, and Vegas was a fast-paced town. So, plus it was like the good old Southern boys, technically still Midwestern, West Coast type of stuff. But yeah, that's a town that's a lot of fun. But I would never go there just for the sake of going there. I would go there because I'm going there for another reason, like a festival or to go see someone in concert, and being like, we'll go to Vegas because there's a lot of cool shit to see out there. It's not just casinos, but it's still goddamn expensive.
Yep. I stand corrected. Just like you said, it's like unless you're going to a festival, then there's no reason. And thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, no, there's no reason to go to Vegas otherwise if you're under the age of if you're over the age of 25, there's nothing in Vegas to be there for. It's all just burning money in your pockets.
And you can burn your money anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, man, I'd rather burn my money on I don't know, going somewhere else besides Vegas.
How about Camp Crystal Lake?
Yeah, there we go. Camp Crystal Lake. There's one you can go to.
Well, Adrian King, who played Alice in the first movie, was telling me that's you can go there now.
Yeah, no, you can. I live in Jersey, obviously. And you live in Jersey too, right?
Delaware.
Delaware? Oh shit, that's
the mystical land known as Delaware, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, Delaware. I've lived in Jersey my whole life, and that whole camp counselor thing, they just started doing it, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes. And
they do it there's actually an active camp there, so they have to do it during some regulated time frame because, obviously liability with kids running around not too far from a bunch of horror fans that are obsessed with it. Sometimes they even have it where you could watch the movie on a screen while floating in a raft at the lake. You're floating in an inner tube. You get your own inner tube and you watch the thing on TV or on the screen. It's pretty cool. I've never done it, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah, and then what happens after? Someone dressed up like Jason grabs you out of the water and pulls you under?
You know what? They don't do anything like that, apparently, because they don't want to create, what's the word I'm looking for? They want it to be like a historical vibe, this is where history was made. Cinematic history was made at that place, for sure. Friday the 13th is not the first low-budget horror film to do something right, but it was one of the OGs that did it right. It was one of those that came after Halloween, and it was all right, this got its own thing going on, But yeah, I've never been. Plus, there's the diner in Blairstown that you can go to as well.
Yes.
this coming Friday the 13th is actually Jason Voorhees' birthday in June. That was
in
actually
June. Yes.
So that'll be pretty cool. I think it's pretty fascinating that, again, like it's that 1 in a million thing, because everybody's pushing Friday the 13th right now. Everything is Friday the 13th related that I've been seeing everywhere. They're just riding that wave because this is going to happen maybe, I don't know, in our lifetimes, maybe like, what, 2 or 3 more times, it being Jason's birthday. If
Maybe.
that.
Maybe.
Assuming we live long, healthy lives, that is.
You know what? It doesn't have to be on Friday the 13th. We can go whenever we want to. It's still going to feel just as awesome.
Yeah, no. Friday the 13th is still awesome. I remember back in the day, like in the 90s, I would have my friend come over in like elementary school on a Friday the 13th, and we would watch all the Jason Voorhees movies on USA Network that were
Joe Bob
heavily
Briggs.
What? Joe Bob Briggs, yes. And they were
That
all
was
heavily
TNT,
edited.
right?
Yeah, what was it? There was USA Up All Night. That was one.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, and Rhonda Shear. And then we had Joe Bob Briggs, which was Monster Vision TNT.
Yep.
And what was after that? And USA Network, yeah, USA was USA Up All Night with the Rhonda Shear. Joe Bob Briggs was on TNN.
TNT,
So
I think.
like, TNT, sorry, yeah, TNT.
No, all right.
Oh man, TNT, wow. It would be on TNT, and I remember it was just nonstop. But USA Network used to be the place to go for that back in the day.
So back to Joe Bob Briggs real quick. He was the first. Actually, he said on a show, one of his episodes, like, Jason Voorhees is a Jersey boy. And I'm like, dude, I've been saying that for years.
As someone who went to summer camp in Jersey, it totally looks like Jersey.
No, I'm serious, because the film was shot in Jersey, and people don't think so.
It absolutely was shot in Jersey, and so was Child's Play. A few movies were shot in Jersey that I can't remember. Child's Play was filmed in Hackensack.
4.
What?
Bride of Chucky.
Oh, that's right. Bride of Chucky was here too. That's right.
That's what I mean. Child's Play 4.
That's right. Wow. Yeah, I forgot because they canonically went back to Jersey for Bride of Chucky, which was another great movie. But yeah, Jersey and horror have always been kind of closely related, more so than you would think.
And Ron and Chris are making more movies in New Jersey horror related, which you already know.
Yeah, no, they're doing their thing and they're making moves, and I'm really happy for that. I'm glad to see horror staying alive in Jersey with Jersey boys. That's for
it
sure.
Needs to. It needs to, because
it's like a rite of passage.
Jason Voorhees is just one example. We can create several others going forward.
And then there's always the fact that Troma bases their Toxic Avenger out of a facetious town in New Jersey. You know,
Tromaville.
What is it? Newcomb.
Newcomb High.
Yeah, that's it. Newcomb High.
Well, speaking of which, you met Uncle Lloyd.
I met Uncle Lloyd for 3 seconds on a set. He popped out to do some directing, and I like quickly ran up and like asked for like a picture. I was like, "Hey man, I'm from Jersey. You know, I came here." Da 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 da. He's a really nice guy. He was on his way, going back inside, so I didn't exactly want to hold him up any longer. But he's a really cool guy. He stayed and took pictures with everybody that wanted pictures with him. He did not seem rude or bothered. And even in the end, when I ran up to him, because like I kind of waited till the end, even the guy who was helping him was like, "All right, man, yeah, just this got to be the last one." He wasn't even like a prick about it. He was just like, "No, really, we got to go." Like, he was a really cool guy, and his films are something else to see being filmed. The guy is just something else.
It's funny. I talked to one of the guys from Troma. I think it was Frankie, and he said that if the remake either bombs or does well, don't blame us.
That's the general consciousness I've been hearing, because they really don't have anything to do with it, right?
No,
like,
I wish they did.
Yeah, Troma's an interesting animal, and working for them for 2 days just as an extra and seeing all the cool stuff that you got to do and how they handle things and how professional but laid back they are is really cool. I can't remember all the rules of being on set, but they were like, make sure everyone's having a good time, make sure everyone's safe, and we'll try to make a decent movie. Like, that was like the joke about, like, that was literally like they were something else. And because it's Troma, and I've been on some sets that were pretty respectably sized, this thing was huge. Like, they rented out this mansion and they were filming in 2 different spots at once. They had like the set that was filming the shit I was doing, where I was just an extra who was running on screen and getting gunned down. Like, I don't even have IMDb credits for that. It's just for the love of the game. And then on the other side, there was like another scene being filmed. They had like a full-on production thing, which is really fascinating because, you know, we were both on Swine and Dine. That was really a cool production thing, but they weren't filming two things at once because the logistics, it's a small team. Troma is not a small team. Troma is this massive entity that just, it was like a machine. It was like, if they told me they filmed that whole movie in under 2 weeks, I would believe them because it looked like there was no sleep. Like you just rocked and rolled, and whoever was supposed to be on set that day, do your thing.
That doesn't surprise me, considering because, well, you were so going back to the New Jersey Horror Con. Were you able to get a chance to see the Hunt? Was it the Hunt Chase Kill movie?
No, but I do want to see it. I was talking to them about a premiere they're doing, and I'm going to try to attend that. That'll be really fun.
Did you meet the director yet? His name's Paul.
Paul. Oh yeah, no, I met Paul. Paul handled some prop work on I think he handled prop work on Swan and Dine too. Paul's a really solid dude.
That's right. He created the knife.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, I've met Paul. I've never seen his production company in play though. That's something that I'm really excited for. Seems like they did a really good job with everything, to be quite honest with you. They won best special effects, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. If you get an opportunity, work for him, please.
If the opportunity arises, I would love to. If you want me to ask you, did you see it or no?
Absolutely.
How did you like it?
I loved it. It was like I felt like a horror fan. It's like I'm sitting on the floor, you know, stretching my legs because I'm standing for so long, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm being as quiet as can be. But in my head, it was just like I was going off. It was just like I had my own commentary going on in my head. It was so much fun. And then I met Paul later to, you know, tell him he did an excellent job. I really liked the movie, and then he told me what his production was like, and I was floored. It was like my jaw could have dropped to the ground if it could. I was like, seriously? So it's basically what his message is: he could do it, I could do it, you can do it, anyone can do it.
He's a really cool, open-minded individual. He's very creative, very driven, very what's the word I'm looking for? Very eccentric, and I like him. He's a really great guy, and
he comes off as very passionate.
Yeah, he's very passionate about what he does. Everything he does is like of the utmost importance to him.
So one last thing on Paul real quick. He did a cosplay of Bret the Hitman Hart. And I'm thinking you should do a cosplay of The Undertaker.
I'm not going to lie. I've thought about that sometime, doing a cosplay of The Undertaker. I could actually probably pull it off pretty well with the hair and the goatee alone. But yeah, I've got to say the idea of him as Bret Hart, I can't unsee it. It must have been flawless.
It's on his Facebook.
It must have been great. Like, yeah, he looks just like Bret Hart, like if he wanted to.
Oh, you know the best part of all was he had the belt.
The winged belt?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like, that's the cherry on top, dude.
The winged belt, as long as it was the winged belt, that's all that mattered, because he was the winged belt in my opinion. Like, he was the guy that should have had it.
And what was it? He was 5 times. Yeah, all 5 times he had the winged eagle. See, I didn't know you were into belts either. I didn't know that.
Belts are cool. Like, I've never had any, and they're not my thing to collect. I remember back when they were like really expensive, like to get like a replica belt, like from.
They still are about $2,000.
Yeah, no, they used to be like, I guess, yeah, compared to back in the day, to get like a replica belt before WWE would like sell them to you, you had to go to like someone who knew how to make them, and their like time was limited because they were making an unlicensed product, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I have seen a replica Intercontinental belt in my life. But yeah,
I held one. A friend of mine actually bought one through Reg Parks, the original creator of the belt, and he paid like $2,000 for his. And instead of the WWE logo or WWF logo, it had to be like a modified version of the belt. He still has it. He still has it.
The quality of this one was a licensed thing that a friend was gifted, and it was just so cool. Like I like the old Intercontinental belt too. I don't even know what the new one looks like, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, the new WWE belts. I mean, I get it. Times change. I can't understand everything. But like one of my favorite belts was the ECW World Title. That was like one of my favorite belts. Like the red and gold on that, and like the scribble writing. Like the way it took something that was supposed to be elegant and finessed, you know, the gold belt, which we were all accustomed to at the time, and made it ECW style, was just fantastic.
Absolutely. And my third favorite belt is the tag belt from 86 to 98.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's got the Navy SEAL logo on the top.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about now. Yeah, the old tag belts.
Yep,
I remember those too. Those are really pretty too.
they are. I mean, eventually I'm going to have all three belts back in my collection, but they're going to be like the most expensive ones because I'm willing to pay the amount. But that's just me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. If I could have any three belts, I would definitely take the ECW title for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably take the wing title.
Mm.
And then I would definitely take that smoking skull belt. That Stone Cold belt was some
Yes.
shit. Remember that would be my cliche 90s babe 90s kid belt collection.
And you know what? I mean, you got to get it autographed by the man himself.
And what's it called? Didn't Randy Savage have like the Intercontinental title with like a bunch of different colors and stuff like that sometimes?
No.
No, I'm thinking.
No, that was Ultimate Warrior.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I remember somebody had replica belts that were like different leather colors, which was really cool.
He did the same thing with the WWE title too.
He
Purple, white, baby blue.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh man, the Ultimate Warrior. Talk about a failed experiment on Vince McMahon's end.
And you know what? I was a Hulk Hogan fan then, not so much now, which I'm not going to get into.
Yeah, no. We all have our reasons for not being a fan of his, and I'm totally not a fan like I used to be. But it is what it is.
I'm not going to say a word. I'm not going to say a dang word.
No. But yeah, Hulk Hogan was the. Sometimes I think about it. Hulk Hogan was kind of the Winged Eagle belt too.
Well, he was the first.
Yeah, he was the first, and he definitely was. He had his purpose and his place and his undeniable transcending of the sport. But yeah, not everything ages that well. Like some things age like wine, something ages like milk. Depending on who you ask.
It's funny. First episode of Raw on Netflix, he got booted out of the building just for promoting his own beer.
Dude, yeah, he is not winning any popularity contests, which is so strange to say. Like, but hey. Sometimes you do things and they have repercussions long term and divide people down the line, and that's how it goes sometimes.
Thank you. That's what you and I have been doing for a long time, which is long term planning.
Yeah, you got to pick your battles. You got to understand not everything is cool with everybody, and who's to say what's cool and what's not? I suppose, but like,
mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's a matter of opinion, but at the end of the day, it's just entertainment.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I get if people don't want to deal with it. I always thought it was funny since TKO took over how much more conscious they are of everything. Like they're more like aware of the world around them, whereas like under Vince's reign, it was like Vince's world or nothing.
Yeah, you know what? True story. I actually tried out for pro wrestling school back in 1999 before I joined the Navy, and I actually passed the tryout.
Really?
Yeah, you remember Gabby from First Aid of Fear? You were with her. You worked with her.
Yeah.
She trained at the Monster Factory, and that's where I tried out back in '99.
The Monster Factory. That was where's that one located?
Mantua.
Who runs that one?
Danny Cage.
Okay. I was thinking of the power. I'm thinking of the power plant. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. WCW.
Yeah, that was WCW. I was like, wait. Now I know why it doesn't make any sense because it was closed down. But yeah, that's wild. But yeah, I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I was talked out of it because Captain Lou Albano's brother worked at my high school, and he got word that I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and he was telling me about the profession, and he's like, yeah, man, you don't get health insurance. Remember, this is like the early 2000s.
Yes.
Like you don't get health insurance. My brother broke every finger in his hand before he ever made enough money to feed himself, let alone his family. And it was the one time somebody talked me out of something I wanted to do because I was like, that's insane. Like you could be wrestling in front of someone in like a starter match and run the wrong way and blow your knee out and your whole career is gone before you. Like that was one of the few times where the gamble was not worth the risk to me. And I'm a pretty risk-taking guy, as you know. But that one time, like when he put things into perspective for me, I was like 14 years old. I was like, never mind.
I think I was 20 when I tried out. And then Larry Sharp was the co-owner and founder of the school. And King Kong Bundy was also a co-founder. And a lot of people have gone through that school, as you already know. Like Damian Priest was the most recent one. Mm-hmm. But it was like, I'm glad I didn't because just the bad rumors I've heard, and also I don't think from mentally that I would have been able to handle, the politics and the BS and nonsense.
It's a lot. It's a traveling circus act. It's one of the few things that's still like that. It's like essentially the last thing of old Carney style entertainment, setting up shop in a new town and blowing the doors off the hinges because you have such a phenomenal product. It's something you have to really be ready for. And I was like, no way. I was like, I'm not ready for that. Like, and it's one of the few times I actually realistically looked at one of my unrealistic dreams and was like, we need to pick another one. Like, not.
Was that a bitter pill for you to swallow? Honestly, because I know it was for me.
At 14 years old, I want to say not so much, because I don't know what I was like, I'm going to do next. Yeah, that's when I decided I wanted to be a hip hop artist after that. So it was a reality check that what I wanted to do might be more than I thought. So maybe I should just avoid the physical side of things, because I was never into sports or anything like that. Pro wrestling just spoke to me because it's performance art,
Of course, and but you both of us respectively might get another shot. With you ever heard of Crater? Was it Crater Clash or something? Whatever. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's like two YouTubers fight in the ring and they box.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, Creator Clash. I thought you said Crater Clash.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know what that is, but I was just like, oh, I think I misunderstood what he said.
No, you corrected me, and I appreciate that. It would be nice if they had like a wrestling edition versus just boxing.
That'd be kind of cool. A theatrical affair. I mean, wrestling's theatrics. I've always, like I said, I loved wrestling, but I just was like, I'll do something else, and I went to the hip hop route instead, and took one thing to another, and now here we are over here talking about video games on your podcast. And
once again, you're a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun in my day, that's for sure. I definitely tried out everything, and when I hit a roadblock on something, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna quit. I'm just gonna try something new. Like when I was doing DJing, it was cool. I lived by New York City, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and it was like, well, I don't want to like stream from my house and do a DJ set, but I think I want to try streaming from my house nonetheless. And that's how one thing led to another. And I don't know why this thing is moving around like that. That's really weird. It's on like some autofocus shit. I'm not sure. But it was one of those things where I just was like, I'm going to do streaming and content creation. I was like, I'll just do YouTube shit. I'll just do stuff on YouTube. And that led to the whole acting thing and blah, blah, blah. And just, I was never afraid to be like, yeah, you know what? This isn't working out like I think it would. And this other thing is actually going somewhere for me. So let me focus some energy on that.
Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about that real quick. You're talking about rebranding. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, the whole idea of rebranding is interesting because I've done it so many times. Like I said, I went from a rapper to a DJ to a content creator to, I guess, like an actor now. And like, it's fascinating.
You don't need these. You are an actor.
Like, yeah, it's just fascinating because it's always funny to me because I wasn't planning that. It just happened. And now I have this whole avenue of just being able to not worry as much. I always tell people the most fascinating thing about being an actor is when I was a guy who made songs, I had to worry about the song from start to finish. I had to promote the song after it was out. When I was an EDM DJ, I had to produce dance music and I had to do like everything. Literally as an actor, I just show up on set, I say some lines and I go away. And then I never have to worry about the project again until it's out. I don't have to do the editing. I don't have to do sound. I don't have to do graphic works or anything. It's so relaxing to just be a part of something instead of being the whole thing. Like so much easier.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Remember Swine and Dined, and you did your scene Upside Down, which people are going to see. But after you were done with your scenes, you worked behind the camera.
Yeah, I was doing the sound for them because those are my boys, and I will say I'm not built for behind the scenes stuff. It's not my foray. Like I've actually attempted it a few times since then, and I've helped people out, and it wasn't like I was miserable or like, oh man, get me out of here. I'm just coming to realize I like being in front of the camera too much. I think the fact that I worked behind the scenes for everything I did up until this point, like you just heard me say, like the whole idea of just being in performance just sets me at like a peace level. But
I thought you did okay as far as audio.
What?
I thought you did okay.
I know. I feel like I did fine, but I will say this before I sound like I don't appreciate it. The people behind the camera are so much more important than the people in front of it. The people behind the camera, for every one person in front of the camera, there might be like 3 to 5 behind the camera, maybe a little bit less. But without them making life so easy that all I have to do is show up play dress up and remember some lines, I don't know how filmmaking would work. People such as yourself who, helped me out when I was in the middle of doing a stunt, like helping out the talent so that way they're comfortable. They're so much more important than what goes on in front of the camera. You could say both are equal, but the hard work that those people put in just to make my job so much easier than it needs to be, like bro, everything is laid out. The special effects guy has the fake blood in the cup. The prosthetics guy has the fake arms strewn about the table. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody has done everything. The lighting guy is making all of this look beautiful. The camera guy is queued up and synced up. Like, just remember your line and make it look good. Like, I can't tell you how important all those people are to make it so that way my job is the easiest one in the place, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, without question. And, for any production, maybe I'm being a little naive here, but I think it's very important just to have, just to have a plan and to be able to continue to plan and, and trying to make the production a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, okay, we're setting up for this. Set that up. We'll deal with it later. Right now, set up this. And, because as a PA for Swine and Dine, for instance, was like my job was to keep up with the co-director, Chris. My job was to keep up with him, and which I did, and he credited me for it, and you did too, I believe. And it was like, just whatever they tell me to do, just make sure that, it's done so that way it's a well-oiled machine and everything goes smoothly. That's my job.
That's honestly why, again, like, it's fascinating because while you guys are like running around, moving the lights, putting this in the car, hopping in the car, putting this over there, lighting guys doing this, you're the assistant director, you're running and grabbing something from somewhere. They literally just telling the actors, like, sit tight, guys, we'll be with you in a minute. Like,
yeah, and
we just talk amongst ourselves. And don't be wrong, we talk about our scene and our plans and what we're going to do, but it's a very, it's touch and go. It's not like essential. We all already are there and we know what we're going to do. Like, we know what to do and what to say. But the people behind the scenes are just like, all right, we got to move this here. This chair's got to be over there. Oh, shit, this was in the background. Now we have to move this. The lighting looks good like this, but it looks good like this too. Which one do you think? And the next thing you know, they just call us over. They're like, all right, come on, guys, let's do this. Like,
well, not you. You didn't sit still. You were with us most of the time.
For Swine and Dine? Oh, yeah. Swine and Dine was a different animal. That was a small team of people really working as hard as they could to make the best of what they were working with, which – given all they were working with, which was impressive, they made something that looks really, really good. Like, it looks phenomenal. Like, I like what I saw entirely.
That movie's almost ready, by the way.
Yes, I was told. And I am one of my things is I never ask when something's coming out. But I've been told by numerous people it's on its way, and I was like, okay.
Well, the only reason I ask, from my perspective, is because I want to be there for the premiere and to hang out with you and the rest of the crew and the cast.
Yeah, I'm not sure anything about that. That's the only thing I ever do ask about when they tell me it's coming out. Like, that's when I'll ask questions. But yeah, the premiere is going to be a lot of fun. For, what was it? MonsterCon Massacre, we had the premiere in Ron's hotel room at a Monster Mania. We all just went upstairs and watched it together, and it was classic.
Was that the time where you were walking by, gave you a quick hug, and you had to run?
No,
this was Flickr.
No, that was Flickr.
Okay.
The premiere for MonsterCon Massacre was like, I don't even remember which Monster Mania it was. I don't think I had even met you yet. MonsterCon Massacre was their first. It's on YouTube. You can watch it on their YouTube right now.
Wait, what's the movie called again?
MonsterCon Massacre.
Who's in it?
It has Brody. It has Ron. It has, I think Chris is in there. We have a whole bunch of people from the con scene in there. It was filmed at a con, and it's absolutely hilarious. It's bootleg style. It's completely on Black Ave YouTube. It was their first ever film. It's bootleg style. It was shot with like Amazon cameras. Like, when I say Amazon, I mean cameras from Amazon, like Chinese affair. It's something that if you ever want to see where Chris and Ron got their start, and also see me be the first ever kill in a Black Ave film, that's where you go.
I'm only asking because I bought a movie over the weekend, and it's got Xander Goldman. You ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah, I know who he is, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a very good friend of ours because we had like one of the best conversations ever. Just, he's in his costume for his next movie.
Xander's a really cool guy. I've only spoken with him briefly. I've introduced myself. But he's, a really well-respected individual. He makes some really fascinating films, and I'm told he's absolutely crazy to work with. So in a good way. I'm talking like in a good way, he's crazy to work with.
Oh, he's insane.
Yeah,
I've never worked for him, but he's insane.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay, my shit just blacked out. That was really random.
No worries.
Yeah, he makes some really cool stuff. And I know Crimson Harvest looks really cool. It looks like they got a Scarecrow-esque type of killer in there, and I love me a good Scarecrow killer.
I didn't know about the movie, but I saw the costume and I instantly thought Scarecrow from the Batman universe. And I'm thinking, who is this guy?
That's a thing that's actually coming back pretty heavy is the Scarecrow look in indie horror. There's The Boy from Below that has that. There's that one. And I can't remember which other one, but there's like 2 or 3 to do this. Hang on, wait 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Sure. So you figure out what you need to figure out, and then we'll wrap up, and then I'll have a $1 million question for you afterwards.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
You were trying to tell me something.
Sorry, my apologies. Trying to take a picture of something real quick.
Oh, you're fine, dude. You're fine.
But I'm sorry, what were we talking about? My apologies.
I forgot already, too.
God damn it.
It happens. It happens. I'm going to wrap this episode up. I think, we're close to an hour and a half, which is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, we are.
And that was the point of the podcast. I wanted to make it like an hour and a half on average, 2 episodes a week if that's possible. Your episode 1, so you got the bragging rights.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm really glad you did this. By the way, I'm glad that you let me be the first guest. I see big things for this, and we're gonna have a lot of fun promoting it. And I want everyone to check it out. Make sure you like and subscribe to his channel, and don't forget he's one of the realest out there right now, and he's the reason why I can walk without being with a broken neck.
So I want to make something clear. You may be my first guest, but you're not the last.
Oh no, not at all.
This is now your last appearance. You're going to be in future. I'll probably have you at least 2-3 times a month if you want.
You know what? Let's see if we can swing, because I got projects coming out that I want to talk about, and we can find ways to base shows around that. I would love that. That would be fantastic.
And you can promote yourself at the same time.
Yeah, man. And there's always prospects of me needing to see what you want to do behind the scenes, so that way if somebody ever wants to ask me, hey, do you know someone who might do XYZ? I want to know what you do, so that way I can recommend you, by the way. I've always wanted to ask you that, and I'm asking you that now. Message me after this, just so that way I have it written down somewhere. Sure. And that'll be dope.
Well, I mean, so I'll give a brief recap of what I want to do with my channel. Podcast, obviously, live streams. That's I'm this close. I will do video game reviews. We talked about this off the record. I wanted to do video game reviews like once a month. Spoiler alert, I want my first episode to be Sewer Shark on the Sega CD.
Okay, that's one.
That's just the first episode. We'll go from there. We'll see what happens. Any last words, Ilson, before we close up?
Stay dope and stay true to who you are.
well, thanks to friends like you, of course, I have to be.
No, really, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on here, and I can't wait to see what this looks like. Keep up the good work, all right, my dude?
The honor is mine, and remember, life's like a video game. Either you play it or you get played.
That's right, brother. All right, man, I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, take care.
Take care, man. Bye.
Bye.